argue was one of the hardest hit. Milton began in a small garage right after World War II, making metal products for the defense, aerospace, and automotive industries. But in due time, the darkest days for Detroit did arrive. Milton could barely keep their doors open while supporting less than 10 employees. Instead of giving up, they stayed here and persevered. Today, we're surrounded by 300,000 square feet of once derelict buildings, now a bustling plant. Joining us now, Milton's owner and president, Shelley Green, and her husband, Vice President Jim Green Jr., true examples of proud Americans. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you very much for coming.
Shelley, I want to start with you. I walked through the plant yesterday. I saw a lot of the products being made. These products are saving our own men and women on the front lines, but you do an array of products. At one point, you could barely keep your doors open, and you were here. How do you go from one to the other in a city when all the odds are stacked against you?
Well, you have to persevere and just keep fighting for what you really want.
The Secretary of Labor was here really just a few short days ago, Jim. You walked him through the plant as well, and in fact, you have some big news. You're headed to Washington, D.C. on Wednesday. Do you feel like you're getting support from the administration in the fact that they're listening to you? They're listening to small business owners and manufacturers. He
listened when he was here. He asked very, very accurate and intelligent questions. He was concerned. And we paid attention to what we were responding with. So he was real. When we also first arrived, we saw that you have about 15 acres of what we mentioned, a manufacturing plant, and a lot of it is surrounded by gardens. But you had once told me that it was really rundown homes, a horrible neighborhood to be in. In fact, you could barely get engineers to come and work here in your darkest days. Why didn't you just pick up and leave? Why did you continue on?
Because we believe in Detroit. We believe this is where we want to be. This is where Mr. Milton started it in the 40s. This is where his father bought it from Mr. Milton. We bought it from him. We don't want to leave. We want to help build.
But it would have been easy to leave.
It would have been easy, but we're not easy people. We like to fight for what we want.
I'm curious about the men and women who work here, Jim. What are they like? A lot of them have worked here for years. And in fact, you had, a group of 10, and that was it before you got to 200?
The Secretary of Labor was here. We had 8 or 9 folks that are in their 60s that have 35 to 45 years seniority. So people retire from here. 1946, there are a lot of generations that have worked here. So there's really hard work in UAW folks.
What about when you're hiring the next generation? What are you looking for? And also, what are you hearing? Are you seeing people who are eager to work?
That's what we're looking for. We're looking for somebody that wants to work and will take care of the rest. But show me you're going to come every day, and show me you're going to come with a positive attitude, and we'll train you to do the
Okay,
rest.
so what is that like in Detroit? Because we've talked about a lot of urban development programs that are trying to expose kids to the in and out, and obviously and getting education, maybe perhaps not in college, maybe not a 4-year degree, but a specialized education. Are you both pushing for that?
That's kind of where the apprenticeships and stuff were really big in the 50s and 60s, and they kind of went away in the 80s and 90s, and we need that to come back. We need apprenticeships, we need training, we need the ability to gather our employees from the surrounding areas, not from miles and miles away. We want people from around here to work for us.
That's what Secretary Acosta was here to emphasize.
What's it like when you look at these MRAP vehicles and you think to yourself, what we're producing here is saving lives of men and women every day?
When you get a letter,
makes us tear up.
from somebody's dad.
Yeah. It says, "Thank you for saving my son's life. He was in an MRAP that blew up and he survived." That's there's nothing better. There's nothing better than that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for what you do. We're really proud of you guys.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. We're so glad you're here.
Leland?
Well, coming up, a new coal mine opening for the first time in years. We're going to go underground with why investors are willing to take more risks than ever as President Trump promises big spending.
It speaks to the economic message of the president, which is infrastructure. It's America first. It's bringing jobs back to areas that have been hard hit in the Rust Belt states and the coal mining states. So I think this is a direct hit with his message, and it's perfect for what he's trying to accomplish, which is good business for us.
That's right, keep rocking. SiriusXM's free listening event might be over, but you can turn us back on with packages starting for a limited time at just $5.99 a month plus fees. Just visit SiriusXM.com/GetSXM to keep hearing all the things that make you love taking the long way home. So visit SiriusXM.com/GetSXM or call 1-844-479-6669 to turn us back on and up.
If you're the spouse of a military veteran, I want you to know something. Your spouse has earned the right to apply for a VA home loan. A VA home loan is unique. It's different than other loans because it allows you to borrow up to 100% of the home's value. That extra borrowing power may allow you to pay down debt, lower your monthly payments, put cash in the bank, and give you the peace of mind that every veteran deserves.
Go to newdayusa.com or call 1-855-676-4735. It's a new day for veterans who want to lower their monthly payment.
That's me.
The New Day 100 VA loan lets you refinance your mortgages, consolidate your credit card debt, get cash, and lower your payments an average of $640 a month. New Day will even pay for your appraisal.
That's me.
As a vet, you've earned the right to apply for a home loan that's VA guaranteed. For veterans who want to refinance, that can mean a lot.
That's me.
Call New Day USA now, 1-855-676-4735.
If you love your dad, give him a meal that he'll truly appreciate. The Omaha Steaks Father's Day gift is filled with over $200 worth of great food for just $59.99. That's 70% off only on this special offer. The Omaha Steaks Father's Day gift includes either Omaha Steaks 4 juicy, tender 6-ounce filet mignons or a huge 30-ounce T-bone steak. Plus, you'll get 4 gourmet jumbo franks, 4 premium ground beef sliders, 4 creamy potatoes au gratin, and Omaha Steaks signature steak seasoning. Dessert is a decadent 2-pound New York cheesecake. Your order will be delivered straight to your home or the destination of your choice for the perfect gift. As a special thanks from us to you, if you order right now, we'll include 4 more premium Omaha Steaks ground beef sliders free. That's 8 total. The Omaha Steaks Father's Day gift, over a $200 value for just $59.99. Give Dad a gift he can appreciate. Give him the Father's Day gift from Omaha Steaks today.
When you have digestive sensitivities, some foods leave your stomach in knots. With bloating, discomfort, cramps, and gas. Try ProNourish Drink, a unique nutritional drink that's high in protein and fiber. And ProNourish has no gluten or high fructose corn syrup. And it's low in FODMAP ingredients that may trigger digestive sensitivities. It's your delicious anytime, anywhere mini meal or snack. ProNourish, nutrition you can feel good about.
If you have Medicare Parts A and B and want more coverage, guess what? You could apply for a Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan whenever you want. No enrollment window, no waiting to apply. That means now may be a great time to shop for an AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company. Medicare doesn't cover everything, and like all standardized Medicare Supplement Insurance plans, these help cover some of what Medicare doesn't pay. So don't wait. Call now to request your free decision guide. It could help you find the AARP Medicare Supplement plan that works for you. These types of plans have no networks, so you get to choose any doctor who accepts Medicare patients. Rates are competitive, and they're the only plans of their kind endorsed by AARP. Remember, these plans let you apply all year round. So call today, because now's the perfect time to learn more. Go long.
Hillary Clinton famously said she would put a lot of coal miners out of work. In contrast, as the first new coal mine in recent memory opened this week, President Trump sent a video message promising more jobs were on the way. We traveled to Trump country, rural Pennsylvania, to find out what the newfound support from the White House means. The spinning grinder is the sound of money and jobs returning to Southwest Pennsylvania. 3 years after the bottom fell out of the coal market, Corsa Coal is celebrating the first mine opening these parts have seen in years.
Sold for about $150 per ton. That's up about double from where it was about a year ago.
Corsa Coal CEO George Duffelson says the new administration changes everything.
The tone of government has completely changed. Coal is no longer a four-letter word. Fossil fuels are encouraged, and that's a great thing for our economy. The regulations have been eased. We're talking about tax cuts, possibly infrastructure spending. All of those are just great for our business.
And while President Trump didn't come, even the Democratic governor of Pennsylvania looked on as he delivered a message during the mine's opening ceremony.
When I campaigned for president, I said that we would end the war on coal and put our incredible miners, and that's what you are, you're incredible, back to work.
This coal seam is only about 4 feet thick, so eventually men will spend an entire 8 to 10 hour shift miles deep with just this much clearance. It is dark, dangerous, tough work, telling the economy here in Pennsylvania that for the 70 jobs in this mine, they had more than 400 applicants.
It's a hard day's work every day, but it's worth it.
At the Coal Miners Cafe in town, Betty Rhodes remembers the boom times and knows one mine opening won't bring them back.
We probably had more than 700 guys working in the area. And they'd come in and get their thermoses filled. They'd come in and get their lunches to go, 3 different shifts. They always, it was a stop they'd make, and then when the mine started closing, that was all gone.
Let's bring in RJ Harris, 580 on your AM dial up in coal country, Harrisburg, PA. RJ, great to see you.
Great to be here.
How bad are things still in Pennsylvania? Is it still as bad as it was when President Trump was running, or is it slowly coming back?
It's slowly coming back. In fact, the unemployment numbers continue to get better. So, and Governor Wolf has obviously embraced that as well. But I think there's a real optimistic tone, and this is a great shot in the arm for us.
Interestingly enough, this comes during Infrastructure Week, when the president really wanted to focus on bringing jobs back. At the same time, you had most of the media here in Washington certainly focused on the Comey hearings, the fallout from the Comey hearings. Which one are your listeners focused on?
Really, infrastructure and day-to-day living. Most of the people on Thursday went to work as they always do and did what they do for a living and really didn't see one bit of the Comey hearings.
Something that struck me in this story up in coal country. They had 70 jobs at the mine, 400 applicants. They think there's going to be about another 400 or 500 trickle-down jobs from the economic shot in the arm, word you used. They have a big problem filling those jobs because so many of the applicants can't pass the drug test. So how do you solve this crisis? In order to solve the opioid crisis, you need jobs. In order to have jobs, you got to be clean.
Well, as in the rest of the country, the opioid crisis in Pennsylvania is out of control. And one of the problems that we have in coal mining territory is, I think you referenced it in your report, it's a back-breaking job, literally. And there are a lot of folks who have issues and became addicted to opioids because of the problem of coal mining to begin with and what it takes out of you. So I don't know how you fix that problem.
That's the great part about being a journalist. Someone told me we just have to have the questions, not the answers. We're looking at the coal mines right now coming back online. Why don't you play what Senator Schumer said just as President Trump talked about this plant and pulled us out of the Paris Agreement.
Future generations will look back on this decision as a failure of historic proportions. President Trump's decision to withdraw is also a sucker punch to American workers who should be building the next generation of wind turbines and solar panels. Now other countries, including China, our economic rival, will seize the mantle of innovation and clean energy away from America.
I'm guessing most of your listeners don't feel sucker punched.
Not at all. In fact, I believe that he's wrong. I'm an all of the above kind of guy, and I think that Senator Schumer can't be serious. All you have to do is look at the real numbers and know that we are decades, if not longer, away from being not dependent on fossil fuels. Wind and solar is a dream at the moment. We have some wind in Pennsylvania, and it's not going to get us anywhere near where we need to be in terms of energy output.
Or in terms of jobs, depending on what statistics you look at. This brings up an important political question. Pennsylvania has always been coal country, but it's also been Democrat country for a very long time. President Trump changed that. Are Democrats winning any hearts and minds with their current policies and their current sort of view towards the president's infrastructure and jobs plans?
Even though I'm a Republican, my great-grandfather was the Ninth Ward party boss of the Democrats in Reading, Pennsylvania, and he would be a Republican today. The Republican Party left people, the hard-working conservative people, years ago, and that's who the Trumpers are. They also voted, the older ones voted for Ronald Reagan. This is just kind of history repeating itself. The Democrat Party and all its liberal views left those people a long time ago.
R.J. Harris, always appreciate your insights here. You can listen online, on the radio as well, up in coal country. Good to see you, sir. Now back to Liz in Detroit.
Detroit's comeback. We're going to get an inside look when we come back at one company who is proud to call Detroit home and turning a huge tragedy into triumph. How one Detroit woman has become a national icon, taking her community back, one abandoned home at a time.
You don't let anything keep you sidelined. That's why you drink Ensure with 9 grams of protein and 26 vitamins and minerals. For the strength and energy to get back to doing what you love. Ensure, always be you.
Mesothelioma, it's all we do. With 7 offices across the country, we are large enough to take on big corporations. Let us come meet with you. Call us at 1-800-500-1895. That's 1-800-500-1895.
America is now making history, but not in the way we ever intended. We are now over $19.5 trillion in debt. Entirely unacceptable. Hi, I'm William Devane, and we are now in more debt than we've ever been. And paying this down anytime soon looks pretty grim, which is why I protect my assets and buy gold from Roslyn Capital. Whether you want new or old gold coins or premium collector coins, Roslyn has them all. Plus, what you order is what you get. No gimmicks, no nonsense, no hassle. And they still have the fastest shipping around. So if you're concerned about this, protect yourself with this. Buy gold and silver from Roslyn Capital.
Call now and get a free gold kit, including coins only available from Roslyn Capital, a free silver kit, and a free IRA kit. Call 800-630-8900, 800-630-8900, 800-630-8900.
Julie is living with metastatic breast cancer, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of her body. She's also taking prescription Ibrance with an aromatase inhibitor, which is for postmenopausal women with hormone receptor positive, HER2 negative metastatic breast cancer as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ibrance plus letrozole was significantly more effective at delaying disease progression versus letrozole. And Ibrance plus letrozole shrunk tumors in over half of these patients. Patients taking Ibrance can develop low white blood cell counts, which may cause serious infections that can lead to death. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are pregnant, breastfeeding, or plan to become pregnant. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite. Julie calls it her new normal because a lot has changed, but a lot hasn't. Ask your doctor about Ibrance, the #1 prescribed FDA-approved oral combination treatment for HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC.
La Quinta presents How to Win at Business. Step 1. Point decisively with the arm of your glasses. Abracadabra, the stage is yours. Step 2. Choose La Quinta, the only hotel where you can redeem loyalty points for a free night instantly and win at business.
Why does Duke take Cosequin? So he can get up and down the stairs. Keep them moving with Cosequin Joint Health Supplements.
We finally figured out what car to get. Now, where to find the best deal?
Why don't I help?
What's that?
Car Gurus. Color?
Silver. Car Gurus?
Low miles, 2 grand below market value, 5-star dealer rating. Ooh, I'm beat.
Let's do it your way then.
I heard that.
Car Gurus. Find great deals from top-rated dealers near you at cargurus.com.
Here's some music. Okay. Now to a story that may bring you to tears. One Detroit woman suffering an unimaginable loss in 2007 when her 2-year-old son was killed by a hit-and-run driver in Highland Park, not far from where we are right now. Instead of standing idle while her neighborhood crumbled, Shamayim Harris, known as Mama Shu to some of her friends and family, wanted to give the kids a place to play, learn, and live. She transformed her Detroit suburb one home at a time. Mama Shu joins me now with more on this unbelievable undertaking.
Wow,
it's hard to put into words. Some people have seen you on the national news. Some people have seen you on Ellen. In fact, I know recently she just brought a home to your neighborhood. I want to know, and I want to start with your motivation, because it's hard for anyone watching now to understand how you suffered from some great loss, and now you're not just helping out your neighborhood, but you're helping out other families, other kids, so they can live and play. And why do that?
Well, one of the things, my motivation, thank you for having me. My motivation is basically to help to build up my community. But one of the things that this project has brought me is a deep healing over the years, 9 years of healing from the loss of my son. He was 2 years, 1 month and 6 days old when he died. And I just, I needed to have a journey to something to do to make the grief good.
But why dig in? Because if we show some video of the neighborhood, you see what was once gorgeous homes, beautiful homes,
beautiful,
vacant, blown out windows, spray paint, just really unsightly, and people left. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people left. You not only stayed, but now you're rebuilding, and you're getting a ton of support. You're not having people who you're paying some people. You're getting volunteers. You're getting young men to tear down these homes. How are you doing that?
Well, one thing about it is we got them involved years ago. It's just that we are there to serve the community. We're there to resurrect and restore. I was also, I worked in the school system for 27 years, so I had contact with children all the time in the neighborhood and in the school that I worked in. I worked with the guys at the Detroit Rescue Mission, and all of them wanted to see a good thing. They wanted to see the neighborhoods look good. They wanted to see what it is that I saw in my vision, which was to bring Avalon Village to life. And they just helped, and I supported them, and I showed them love. A lot of the throwaways, people don't want to deal with them, but I'm like, they're worth dealing with, and they can actually help.
So what have you done so far? When we look at the neighborhood that was, you've taken down and purchased how many homes? You plan to have a homework house. You plan to have a basketball court, volleyball court, tennis court.
Yes.
What have you done so far?
So right now, we've started on the homework house, which is just the center of everything. It is so beautiful. It's a space for children to come after school to eat a meal, to be able to do their homework and have after school activities, wash their clothes, and also take showers too if their lights and gas and things like that is cut off. So we're working on that. That has a solar roof, and it also has geothermal heating and cooling, which we have being installed right now. We're working on the Goddess Marketplace, which is an economic initiative for women, and it is made out of shipping containers. And so we just got the windows cut out in that right now. And that's for women to make money. A lot of women head the households in Highland Park in a lot of spaces, and they have crafts and different things that they can do. So that allows them the support and also the brick and mortar or the building to actually do it.
If people want to help out, they can go, we can put it up on the screen. Is it Avalon Village?
It's Avalon Village.
AvalonVillage.org?
The AvalonVillage.org is the website, the AvalonVillage.org.
Okay, perfect. We have it up on the screen there. A lot of people around the nation have heard your story, and they want to help out because this is the next generation. And you're doing so much, and it's incredible. Thank you so much for joining us, Mama.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you.
When we come back, remembering a TV icon, what the family of actor Adam West is saying about his death. Plus, they're just 6 years old, but they're already making a big splash. We're going to tell you about Detroit's Shinola Company, and we're going to meet the president of the company who says his workers deserve a decent paycheck.
Paying healthy wages is something that's at the core of who we are at Shinola. It's about treating people the right way.
New bike?
Yeah, because I got
Allstate. If you total your new bike, they replace it with a brand new one.
That's cool. I got a new helmet. We know, Steve.
It's good to be in good hands.
At Angie's List, we believe there are certain things you can count on. Like what goes down doesn't always come back up. So when you need a plumber, you can count on us to help you find the right person for the job. Discover all the ways we can help at Angie's List, because your home is where our heart is.
Well, finished. You wouldn't want your painter to quit partway.
Think you missed a spot.
So when it comes to pain relievers, why put up with just part of a day? Aleve. Live whole, not part.
You want this color over the whole house.
With hotels getting so expensive, how do you find great deals anymore? Well, Priceline found a way with Express Deal Hotels. We work with top hotels to fill their unsold rooms, saving you up to 60%. Just tap and go. Check them out now at Priceline. Do something.
Oh, I'm not a security guard. I'm a security monitor.
Why monitor a problem if you don't fix it? LifeLock does more than free credit monitoring to help protect your identity. Join starting at $9.99 a month. Go to LifeLock.com.
The Qatar crisis. What does it mean for U.S. security? Maria's expert weighs in. Then, Comey's media call out. How he says they covered Russia all wrong on Media Buzz.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
What if you could lose fat in just a few hours?
I don't know what to say. I'm just in shock.
You can with Sono Bello.
It seems no matter how much you work out or diet, there are parts of your body that just don't seem to change.
I went to the gym, I worked out at home, I bought videos.
No matter what I did, that bulge was still there.
With its advanced micro-laser technology,
Sono Bello gently removes that targeted fat and shapes your body for life-changing results.
With over 100 board-certified plastic surgeons, Sono Bello is the largest and most experienced group practice in the U.S.
Seeing ain't believing. I don't know what is.
After 5 years trying to get rid of that roll of fat, Sono Bello did it in one day.
Call for your free no-obligation consultation today and get $250 off your Sono Bello body.
Payment plans are available.
Call 888-317-1425 or go to sonobello.com.
You love your property, but you've had it with ugly brush piles, with hauling weeds, leaves, and sticks off your lawn. Finally, there's a fast, affordable way to recycle all your organic yard waste. Introducing the new DR Chippers, now starting at an unbelievably low price. Chew up big branches that come down in storms, and all the lighter trimmings from your yard and garden. Reduce it all into attractive wood chips for landscaping and organic mulch to enrich your soil. Stop moving yard waste around your property. Call now to lock in special pricing on your new DR Chipper, starting at just $799.99.
For a free buyer's guide and DVD, call 1-800-422-1869. Learn how you can get free shipping and pay as low as $27 a month. Your satisfaction is guaranteed with our 6-month trial, so call now 1-800-422-1869. Online at drchipper.com.
And a Fox News alert with some sad news this Saturday. Actor Adam West has died. West, best known for his role as Batman in the 1960s, but his career spanned many decades. The West family released a statement saying, quote, "Our beloved Aw passed away last night. He was the greatest. We'll miss him like crazy. We know you'll miss him too." The spokesperson says the actor was battling leukemia. Adam West was 88 years old. Next hour of America's News Headquarters coming up. Live looks now at a rally against Sharia law here in the United States. New York City, 3 hours in. They came ready for battle, our Brian Yennis reported, but things have remained peaceful so far. We'll check in on that. And President Donald Trump says he is willing to give his side of the story after former FBI Director James Comey's testimony. What that could mean after the break.
Would you be willing to speak under oath to give your version of
100%. I didn't say under oath. I hardly know the man. I'm not going to say, I want you to pledge allegiance. Who would do that?
And we go back to Detroit, to one spot that welcomed then candidate Donald Trump with open arms.
In September, then candidate Trump came to Great Faith Ministries International here in Detroit. He spoke with millions of people one Saturday afternoon. He also spoke with Bishop Jackson. We're going to speak with him after the break.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need cash? You need to know about the New Day 100 Home Loan for Veterans. It lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, not just 80%. And that can mean a lot more money for you and your family. With our military service, veterans like us have earned a valuable VA benefit, the right to apply for a VA home loan. The New Day 100 VA loan lets you refinance your mortgages, consolidate your credit card debt, put cash in the bank, and lower your payments an average of $640 a month. And New Day will even pay your appraisal fee. That could save you up to $500 or more. So call New Day USA. They look at your whole financial picture, not just your credit score. And they'll do everything they possibly can to get you approved. Call them today.
Refinance for up to 100% of your home's value. Go to newdayusa.com or call New Day USA now at 1-855-429-4866.
Hi, I'm Barry Sloan with NewTek, your business solutions company. Does your business need money? Whether you need $10,000 or $10 million, you can count on NewTek, the nation's largest non-bank government-guaranteed lender. NewTek can help your business expand and grow. With a simple phone interview, we can pre-qualify you in just 48 hours. And with rates as low as 6%, you can see why so many businesses turn to NewTek. To see how easy getting a loan can be, contact NewTek, your business solutions company, today.
If you have postmenopausal osteoporosis and a high risk for fracture, I can tell you Prolia is proven to help protect bones from fracture. But the real proof? My doctor said Prolia helped my bones get stronger. Are your bones getting stronger?
Do not take Prolia if you have low blood calcium, are pregnant, are allergic to it, or take Extiva. Serious allergic reactions like low blood pressure, trouble breathing, throat tightness, face, lip, or tongue swelling, rash, itching, or hives have happened. Tell your doctor about dental problems, as severe jawbone problems may happen, or new or unusual pain in your hip, groin, or thigh, as unusual thigh bone fractures have occurred. Speak to your doctor before stopping Prolia, as spine and other bone fractures have occurred. Prolia can cause serious side effects like low blood calcium, serious infections, which could need hospitalization, skin problems, and severe bone, joint, or muscle pain. Only Prolia helps strengthen and protect bones with 2 shots a year.
I have proof Prolia works for me. Ask your doctor about Prolia today.
Sandals. At last, an all-inclusive that truly includes it all. Sandals, the world's only 5-star luxury included resorts. Save up to 65%. Call 1-800-SANDALS.
Stitch Fix is a personal styling service. They pick out all the styles that you love and even give you pieces that you never thought that you would wear.
I can never find my sizes sometimes when I'm at the store. It's nice to know that the clothes are actually going to fit me.
It's so fun, so easy. The box comes right to your door so you don't have to go anywhere.
I rarely get to the store, so if the store comes to me, that's even better.
No shipping costs, and I just saved myself a ton of time.
Now I have more than one pair of pants.
Hope you're having a great Saturday. Glad to be with you. I'm Leland Vittert in Washington.
And I'm Elizabeth Pran. Here's what's making news right now. The road ahead where Congress goes in the Russian investigation now that fired FBI Director James Comey has testified. And the president has reacted to those words.
Plus, marches in cities across the country protesting Sharia law. We'll find out if they are meeting any resistance on the streets.
And of course, as you know, we are in Detroit, much more on the rebirth of the Motor City, with proud Americans putting thousands of people back to work in the industrial heartland.
And where we start, Washington this Saturday still reeling, although some celebrating former FBI Director James Comey's Senate testimony and the president's response, which disputed parts of that testimony. Now, two Hill committees, one Senate, one on the House side, are seeking answers in the form of memos and details on any recordings if they exist. Garrett Tenney with the very latest as this continues to evolve here on a Saturday. Hi, Garrett.
Hey, Leland, these memos are really the focal point of two big legal questions now. Did the president try to interfere in the FBI's investigation of Michael Flynn? And did James Comey break the law by leaking his personal memo? Regarding the latter, former FBI agents point out that this FBI employment agreement bars the disclosure of records gathered on the job and applies to every employee. Here's law professor Jonathan Turley this morning on Fox and Friends.
I believe this was FBI information. He signs a form, as all federal employees do, that states clearly that material like this generated as part of an investigation is presumed to be FBI information. You can't just hand it to the media. To leak it to the press, I think, is professionally and ethically problematic. There's even a federal law that makes some form I think is professionally and ethically problematic. There's even a federal law that makes some forms of theft of documents to be a crime. I don't think he would be prosecuted under that. But when I heard him say that, I was floored.
Lawmakers from both parties have not been shy expressing their own frustrations with the memos of Comey's meetings with the president, not only that the New York Times had more information about them in the president's meetings than they did, but that even now, after repeated requests, they have yet to see them for themselves. There is now a full court press by Capitol Hill to remedy that. On Friday, the heads of the Senate Judiciary Committee reached out directly to Comey's friend, law professor Dan Richman, who received at least one leaked memo. Their letter reads in part, Mr. Comey's memoranda are relevant to the Judiciary Committee's ongoing investigative efforts. Mr. Comey himself has encouraged you to release them. Accordingly, we ask that you provide the committee copies of all memoranda you received from Mr. Comey by no later than June 9th, 2017. And leaders of the House Intelligence Committee, meanwhile, have sent letters to Comey requesting copies of his memos and also to White House counsel Don McGahn for any record the White House has of the meetings, including any recordings of those conversations, if they exist. Leland?
President Trump said we may know about those recordings soon, he said. Garrett Tenney, appreciate it. Reaction from a good friend of the show, Steve Pomerantz, former assistant director of the FBI. Appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir.
Seeing a lot of you these days.
Always a pleasure.
All right, we're going to get to the substance of what Mr. Comey may or may not have done in a minute. Back to sort of the big headline. The president saying 100% all go under oath. You think he consulted with his lawyer before saying that?
No. It would be very, very difficult for me to believe that, given the totality of these circumstances and the complexity of all the issues, that any lawyer is going to advise him to submit to tough questioning by a professional prosecutor under oath.
And as we were talking before, there is so much partisan gamesmanship and spin. Depending on who you listen to, you thought there were two different hearings almost. There's sort of what matters politically, and then there's what matters legally, and it seems as though those two things are different.
Yes, I think that's a very accurate characterization. And what matters legally, coming from my background, will be no surprise to you, is paramount. And I think that's all going to play out over a long period of time as Bob Mueller, I was going to say, launches his investigation. Really, he's taking over an existing investigation. He's going to have a professional staff of agents and prosecutors, and this is going to be a very, very thorough, very exhaustive, very professional, and lengthy investigation. And the one thing I'm kind of sure of knowing Mr. Mueller is that there won't be many leaks, if any. He's not the darling of the press by any means.
All right, so fair to say this is far from over.
Far from over.
This is what Eli Lake said, respected columnist, about the testimony of the former director. Here we have a former FBI director who presents himself as the last honest man in Washington. He makes a point elaborately explaining his actions as by-the-book law enforcement. And yet his own story is kind of a paradox. He says that he felt pressured, but that he did not give into the pressure. He blows the whistle now, but didn't at the time. Has the former director, meaning Mr. Comey, put himself in a little bit of a box?
I'm not sure of that. Again, there's a lot more to the story that comes out, but I'm not certain of what you do in his position when you're dealing with the president of the United States.
He could have offered to resign at the time.
Why? Why would he offer to resign? He may have done the ultimate honorable thing, which is to continue the investigation in aggressive and fair manner. That may be the ultimate professional, ethical, and moral thing to do. Resign to what effect? Who do you go to when you're dealing with the President of the United States to complain, to raise an issue? What he chose to do was memorialize his experiences, which I think any person in that position would do, and to go back to his office and continue the investigation. I'm not so sure that was not the exact right thing to do under the circumstances.
Well, what you may be getting at is that we're in uncharted territory.
Yeah, we are. We're in unparalleled, uncharted territory.
All right. Steve, thank you very much. That means we'll have to have you back to talk about it.
My pleasure.
Liz?
In more than 24 cities across the country today, marchers are participating in anti-Sharia law demonstrations. But law enforcement officials are bracing for possible conflicts with counter-protesters. Brian Yedis joins us from one of those march locations in New York City. Hey, Brian.
Hi, Elizabeth. We're in front of City Hall here in Manhattan in New York City, and it is the site of dueling protests expected across the country. On one side, you have Act for America, which is against Sharia law, and on the other, you have more radical left groups and those who are saying that those groups are racist and anti-Muslim. Right now, we just had an arrest, actually, of a protester over here. You can see the NYPD has positioned itself and come in. There's a man that has been tied up by the NYPD. We're unsure if there are going to be any more arrests, but this is the scene that's happening now. Just a few agitators. This is the only arrest we've seen all day. We've been here since 10 a.m. And again, this is a product of what you have when you have these dueling protests. These Act for America group is a large, what they call national security advocacy group, and they're doing protests in 28 cities in 19 states. And as a result of their move to go against Sharia law, which is the Islamic law, they believe that Sharia law is something that is indoctrinating people to become extremists. They believe that Sharia law is anti-woman, anti-human rights, and that is why that initial group across the street, and that is why Act for America decided to do marches against Sharia law. Well, once these other groups heard that they were doing it, they showed up, and they plan on showing up to all these protests across the country. It's really a dichotomy of two minds. One says we're not anti-Muslim, we are anti-Sharia law and anti-extremism. The other side, though, says, well, you are anti-Muslim and anti-Islam by virtue of being anti-Sharia law. And so that is what we're having here. It is really an example of what we're seeing around the country in terms of one side is legitimately the pro-Trump side, which is across the street, and the other side, which is the side here where the police officers are the anti-Trump side. And so there are multiple different things being discussed here besides Sharia law. Yes, Sharia, anti-Sharia law, but it's also pro-travel ban and pro-Trump. And on the other side, it's leftist groups and also socialist groups, but also pro-immigrant groups that view the other side as completely racist. And so this is the kind of dichotomy we will be seeing around the country. And the NYPD has been doing a good job, if you can see it. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on it for you guys. Leland?
All right, I'll take it. Brian Yedis reporting live. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. A lot going on. Michigan Congresswoman Debbie Dingell represents one of the largest Muslim populations in the country. She said those anti-Sharia marches today will be, quote, total failures. Congresswoman Dingell joins me now live. Still stand by that statement?
Well, what they're trying to do is to divide us in this country by fear and hatred. And I think that in ways I've seen communities come together. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech are some of the most fundamental pillars of our Constitution. You know, honestly, did I think that at this point in my life I would be having to defend freedom of religion in this country? I didn't. You know, I have good friends that my next door neighbors are Muslims. My city is the largest population of Muslims in the country. They're the fabric of our community. They're lawyers, small business people, pharmacists, doctors, dentists. You know, we cannot let people divide us with fear and hatred. And I think that in a way they're getting people to come together more than people have ever thought about it.
When you see, and we saw one arrest take place, what we're afraid of and what I assume you're afraid of is the confrontations.
Correct.
That's when it turns from being productive to not being productive.
You know, when the president announced his travel ban, there were young kids here who are the next generation who called on this Saturday and said, we want to organize something at the airport. And you know that in 24 hours there were more than 10,000 people of all faiths, all generations, from all over the state, many who had never participated in anything and not part of a resistance movement, but just caring about the fundamental pillars of who we are as Americans, and that freedom of religion is that. You know, I frequently say to people, one of the worst moments in this state's history was the Michigan militia and the Oklahoma bombing. Those weren't Muslims. There are evil people out there. We have to understand that you can't take a paintbrush and target anybody.
Okay, I want to shift gears because we're here focusing on a little bit lighter note on proud Americans, and we're here at Milton Manufacturing Corporation, where we've seen a true American success story. You have a huge district here, and you've seen success stories, and at the same time, we're seeing stories that hurt our hearts a little bit. We heard that, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was Ford announcing that they're going to be slashing up to 1,400 jobs. Certainly, we don't know if those are going to be in Dearborn, but we know that some of them could be in Dearborn. We heard similar headlines come out of GM. So yes, we're seeing these success stories, but boy, we have a lot of work to do.
So I love Michigan. I'm a car girl, and I'm really proud of it. And the manufacturing is still the backbone of this American economy, and we need to be proud of that. 1 in 8 jobs is related to the auto industry. And I'll tell you something else. Everybody talks about Silicon Valley. We are at the forefront of innovation and technology here in Southeast Michigan. That is absolutely correct. And there are more computers in a vehicle than there are in Boeing 757s. So we are staying at the forefront of it. The automated vehicles, autonomous vehicles, the connected vehicles are going to be the next generation. So we have to make sure we're educating the next generation. But we also have a cyclical industry. That is, you know, we're seeing a softening in sales. And what we do need, and I'm going to say to everybody, is a stable economic and political environment.
Okay, we'll leave it at that, Congresswoman. That's all the time we have today. I wish we had a little bit more, but thank you for coming by. We appreciate it.
Great to be with you.
Leland?
And a Fox News alert as an Afghan soldier opened fire not on the Taliban, but on some Americans who were there to help. 2 U.S. soldiers died, more injured in the latest green-on-blue attack. John Hannity following the details from our Mideast Bureau. Hi, John.
Yeah, and Leland, the Taliban has now claimed responsibility for this attack. The target, once again, U.S. troops, U.S. soldiers. Take a look at where it happened. It happened in what's called the Nangarhar province in eastern Afghanistan. That's east of Kabul, close to the Pakistan border. When officials say that an Afghan soldier opened fire, started spraying fire on U.S. soldiers, killing 2 soldiers, wounding 2 others, and then that Afghan soldier was killed by return fire. A White House spokesman told reporters on the trail with the president that he is following the emerging situation in Afghanistan. You mentioned the so-called green-on-blue attack, Leland. This is not the first time there's been such an attack like this in Afghanistan this year. Green, those affiliated with the Afghan military, Afghan security forces. Blue, those affiliated with U.S., NATO, and also civilian contractors and security forces. Back in March, you may recall, an Afghan soldier also opened fire on U.S. soldiers that were training Afghan soldiers on a base in the Kandahar province of Afghanistan, wounding 3 U.S. soldiers, and then that Afghan soldier who opened fire was killed as well. He was also a Taliban operative. And overall, just looking at the numbers to give you a little perspective here, since January 1st, 2008, there's been 154 coalition troops and also affiliates, security forces and such affiliates that have been killed in these green-on-blue attacks in Afghanistan. And since 2008, 195 affiliates and coalition forces and soldiers have been wounded. And this, of course, comes as the president is weighing deploying up to 5,000 more U.S. troops to Afghanistan to join the roughly 8,400 that are already on the ground there. And Leland, the past 2 weeks, even since last week, it's been overall very violent in Afghanistan. You may remember last Wednesday, a truck bomb in the diplomatic district of Kabul killed 150 people, and that was about a half a mile from the U.S. Embassy. Leland.
All right. Lucas Tomlinson noting that it should be noted that the U.S. military dropped more bombs in April than any month since 2012. John, to your point about how violent things are in Afghanistan. John, thank you. Liz?
All right, coming up on America's News Headquarters, our Fair and Balanced panel debates whether it's time to get rid of a law that Democrats say helps prevent another Great Recession. But the White House and Republicans say it stifles the economy. We'll debate. Plus, the mayor of Detroit joins me to talk about all the great companies helping to turn around the Motor City. Plus, I'll be catching up with a Detroit bishop who hosted candidate Trump last fall in September. We're going to find out if he thinks President Trump is keeping the promises he made to his congregation.
I want to help you build and rebuild Detroit, and we can do that, especially with people like Bishop Jackson.
Did you know that silver is considered one of the world's most useful commodities, second only to oil? You can't buy an oil field, but you can buy silver, the world's miracle metal. With endless uses in green energy, electronics, and medicine, discover why the experts say silver is the new oil.
Silver is actually my favorite investment, particularly at this price. I think silver is going to $200 an ounce.
I love silver. Call Lear Capital at 1-800-885-6000 to get this special report, Vanishing Silver, and free Experts DVD. Discover why Rich Dad Poor Dad's best-selling author Robert Kiyosaki loves silver, and why these experts see silver as a win-win investment. The first 50 callers also get our Precious Metals IRA Transfer Guide and up to $600 in free gold or silver. This offer ends soon. Call 1-800-885-6000. 1-800-885-6000. That's 1-800-885-6000. Call now.
I accept I take easier trails than I used to. I even accept I have a higher risk of stroke due to AFib, a type of irregular.
That everybody ignores me when I drive. It's fine, because I get a safe driving bonus check every 6 months I'm accident free. Because I don't use my cell phone when I'm driving, even though my family does and leaves me all alone. Here's something else. I don't share it with Mom. I don't. Right, Mom? I have a brand new putter you don't even know about. It's awesome.
Safe driving bonus checks only from Allstate.
Sometimes I leave the seat up on purpose.
Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Tonight. I was honestly concerned that you might lie about the nature of our meeting.
Now, Donald Trump Jr. reacts to the accusations against his father on a must-see Justice with Judge Jeanine.
The sun used to make our outdoor deck and patio space so hot and uncomfortable we couldn't use it.
But then we discovered the Sunsetter retractable awning. Our Sunsetter retractable awning opens and closes in just 60 seconds. It keeps our patio about 20 degrees cooler.
It provides instant shade and instant protection from the sun's harmful rays.
And our Sunsetter costs under $700.
But now you can get your Sunsetter for as little as $599 when you call now to get this special $200 discount certificate and free awning idea kit.
We love our Sunsetter retractable awning, and you're going to love yours too.
Sunsetter awnings are assembled in America and guaranteed to last for years. So call now to get this free awning idea kit with DVD, plus your $200 Sunsetter discount certificate.
But this is a limited time offer.
Call now.
Call now for your free awning idea kit with DVD and $200 discount certificate. There's no obligation.
Now to another Detroit success story. Founded just 6 years ago, Shinola has grabbed headlines and lots of customers for its high-end watches, bikes, and leather goods. Shinola, named after the old shoe polish company that went out of business in the 1960s, took up residence in a former automotive research lab in downtown Detroit, employing hundreds of local workers and attracting people to even move to Michigan. I got a tour of the company from its president, Jacques Panisse. Tell me where we are right now. What's going on all around us?
Yeah, so right now we're in our leather manufacturing operation. So on this particular line here that we're walking down right now is where we're making leather straps. And so the leather straps, they begin over in our pressing room where we're taking a side of leather, and we are cutting the parts for the leather straps out. And then the parts come and they start right here where they've been assembled, and then we're cutting them down to size, punching the holes in the tongue side, punching the hole in the buckle side, applying the branding right here. You can see, so this particular press, sorry sir. Right. You good? Yeah. So you can see this press is actually stamping the Shinola logo into the back of this cordovan strap. And this cordovan strap, this leather is sourced actually out of Chicago from Horween, which is one of the oldest family-owned and operated tanneries in the United States today. So,
but when I walk through this whole level, I see that every single little detail is touched by a human. It's not going through a plant and assembly line. Yeah, that's part of your story.
It is. I mean, it's the people, right? I mean, this is a story much bigger than the brand, much bigger than these machines. This is a story about the people that I work with every single day.
When the big three automakers, we talk about what happened well over a decade ago, there was a lot of people who didn't think that they would work again here in Detroit. Why is it important that you're giving them an opportunity here? We are a small part of what is happening here in Detroit. It's important for us to give opportunity in general to people and show what's possible. And you can see what's possible here. We are producing products here at Shinola that I would put next to any product on the global market from a competitive, from a quality point of view. And that speaks to the people of Detroit and what people here are capable of. And I think that is across the board in the United States. If we give people opportunity, we show them hope, we give them training and the equipment, right, the tools to make things, we will succeed and we can succeed. Anything that you want to show us, like anything that's your favorite that takes place during this whole process before we let you go?
Look, this is all, thanks sir.
Thank you.
This is all my favorite. I mean, this is where we work and we play and we eat together, and these operations here are incredibly difficult, right? And they all have a level of importance that's equal. These are the final touches of making a strap, the sewing operation. So Lisa here applying the stitching to the edges of the straps. And this is, one of those touches of quality that we put into each and every strap that comes out of here.
A lot of it is labor intensive in the sense that this can't be replaced by machinery, by robot. Humans have to do this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We have to feed these straps through. And this is an art, right? We're working with a natural product here, natural material being leather. We're working with, as you can see in the troughs, wet paint. So it's an art, and this is something that takes patience, it takes training, it takes skill, and it takes a lot of dexterity from the team to do what they're doing.
You could really see on the product, I mean, all these are handmade. They don't touch an assembly line, so it was really great for us to visit. Also on the campaign trail, then candidate Donald Trump visited Detroit in an effort to reach out to African-American voters, switching gears, visiting with business and church leaders. His trip was not without controversy. You may remember this back in September. Protesters who felt the candidate was racist greeted the candidate at some of his stops and obviously disrupted his visits. But Bishop Wayne Jackson of Great Faith Ministries International welcomed then candidate Trump into his congregation, as well as the Impact Network. He owns it. It's the world's largest African-American owned and operated Christian TV network, which the now president appeared on. I had a chance to speak with him about the very memorable encounter. Bishop, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it. The president was here, if I'm not mistaken. He was here in September. He spoke to a packed crowd behind us. What was the reception like when he was here, and then also after he left?
Well, September the 3rd, he was candidate Trump at that time. He came to be interviewed by myself. I have a network called Impact Television Network, and the president came to be interviewed by myself. And after that, he came into the church to enjoy our worship service. The reception was good. I was very surprised how people of color welcomed him, because when you sit down with the president at that time, candidate Trump, when you meet him on one-on-one, it's a very different persona that you see contrary to television.
And it's still early in his presidency, obviously, but there were promises, if I'm not mistaken, when we heard him speak, and requests from your community as well. Do you feel like that bridge is coming together, those needs are being met, or is it just still too early in the game?
Well, I believe that, we just passed 100 days, and, a lot of things are going on in Washington, and I think that we need to give him a break and give him a chance to do what he says he's going to do. Now, certainly the community is waiting. I'm waiting, and a lot of us are waiting to see what's going to happen in Detroit, because there's been a lot of promises. Even in the inaugural speech, he mentioned Detroit, and he stood in front of his congregation, and he also made promises that he wants to do something in the urban community. When we look at this situation in the urban community, we're faced with so many things. We're faced with lack of jobs, unemployment. That's what our prayer is. Our prayer is that the money can come from Democrats, Republicans, but we want it done. We want safe streets.
You had a big event in January, if you will, and you spoke at the inauguration. What was that like for you? I can't leave without asking you that.
Well, it was intimidating.
It was?
It was intimidating.
But you did great.
Well, thank you. Well, you had the former president, Barack Obama, you had Biden, you had Bush, you had Cheney, and you had Clinton. It was so many different former presidents. Then you had the Supreme Court justices. I mean, it was just so many people. All the lawmakers was up there, and the whole world watching you. And so it was intimidating, but, God brought me through it.
And it was a moment in history, that's for sure.
Yes, yes.
Bishop, thank you so much for having us here. We appreciate it. We love being here in the city.
Thank you.
When we come back, 7 years ago, sweeping financial regulations were signed into law this week. The Republican House votes to roll them back. Our Fair and Balanced panel here to weigh in on that and whether President Trump is delivering on his promise to end the regulation nation. But first, more arrests and new details about last week's London terror attack. Why investigators say it could have been even more deadly. When we come back.
That's right, keep rocking. SiriusXM's free listening event might be over, but you can turn us back on with packages starting for a limited time at just $5.99 a month plus fees. Just visit SiriusXM.com/GetSXM to keep hearing all the things that make you love taking the long way home. So visit SiriusXM.com/GetSXM or call 1-844-479-6669 to turn us back on and up.
There's an old saying in the Navy that the toughest job in the Navy is the Navy wife. And if you've made the deployments and you've been the wife at home or you've been the spouse at home, you understand what I'm talking about. Your spouse has earned the right to apply for a VA home loan. The New Day 100 loan allows you to borrow up to 100% of your home's value. So if you're in a situation where you need some help financially, give us a call.
Go to newdayusa.com or call 1-855-419-8329. It's a new day for veterans who want to lower their monthly payment.
That's me.
The New Day 100 VA loan lets you refinance your mortgages, consolidate your credit card debt, get cash, and lower your payments an average of $640 a month. New Day will even pay for your appraisal.
That's me.
As a vet, you've earned the right to apply for a home loan that's VA guaranteed. For veterans who want to refinance, that can mean a lot.
That's me.
Call New Day USA now, 1-855-419-8329.
I'm always training with a purpose.
I train a lot and I sweat. I sweat so much.
I'm totally competing, sometimes against the heat.
If it's your passion, you never want to let the heat slow you down. You need something that can cool you instantly and keep you cool for hours. For these world champions, it's the new Max Cooling Towel from Mission.
This Mission Cooling Towel, it instantly cools you down.
Just soak, wring, and snap to activate. Mission's new Hydroactive Max cooling technology cools as low as 60 degrees, plus provides up to 30% greater cooling power. Machine washable and chemical-free technology. Whether you're playing hard or working harder, don't let the heat beat you.
There is no other cooling towel like Mission.
Shop Mission.com or Dick's Sporting Goods.
The Mission Max Cooling Towel, it's a game changer.
This is an urgent message from the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. There is an emergency food crisis for elderly Holocaust survivors in the former Soviet Union. These people live on pensions so small they must daily decide between buying bread or firewood to keep warm. For just $45, we'll rush an emergency survival package to help one desperate elderly person for a month. Call right now.
Call 800-477-5100.
In Ukraine, there's no support network. They don't have food cards or neighbors that come in to help. They're turning to us because they have nowhere else to turn.
God promises to bless those who bless Israel. May you be blessed as you bless His children.
La Quinta presents How to Win at Business. Step 1. Point decisively with the arm of your glasses. Abracadabra, the stage is yours. Step 2. Choose La Quinta, the only hotel where you can redeem loyalty points for a free night instantly and win at business.
Americans, 83% try to eat healthy, yet up to 90% fall short in getting key nutrients from food alone. Let's do more. Add 1-A-Day 50 Plus, a complete multivitamin with 100% daily value of more than 15 key nutrients. 1-A-Day 50 Plus.
Live pictures this Saturday, Galveston, Texas. Looking at the podium there as the Navy is holding a commissioning ceremony for a new combat ship. The ship will be called the USS Gabrielle Giffords, named for the former U.S. Congresswoman shot in an event in Arizona. As you might remember, the Congresswoman's husband, Captain Mark Kelly, is a retired Navy combat veteran as well as a NASA astronaut.
Today, 2 more arrests in connection with the terror attack on London Bridge that took 8 lives just 1 week ago. Investigators are also releasing new details that show the violence could have been much worse. Our own Mike Tobin is live in London with the very latest. Hi, Mike.
Hi there, Elizabeth. As we get a look at the evidence from the attack, one thing is clear, that the attackers had ambition for greater bloodshed 1 week ago when they attacked on the London Bridge. One of them attempted to rent a truck, a much bigger truck, 7.5 tons. The truck was very similar to the truck that was used in the attack in Nice 1 year ago. That attack killed some 86 people. But the attackers' credit was declined and they ended up renting that smaller van. In the van, they had more than a dozen Molotov cocktails made from wine bottles and rags. There was also gravel inside of the van. Investigators speculate that may have been for traction, and office chairs. That may have been a diversion so the attackers could claim they were renting the van for a move. Although all 3 attackers are dead, investigators continue to conduct raids believing the attackers had help. 2 or more people were arrested in East London overnight.
We've seen 18 people arrested across various parts of London and outside, and that is all trying to understand whether in fact anybody had wider knowledge, whether in fact they assisted or supported these 3 attackers, and I fully expect further arrests and searches to continue.
The crime scene, the Borough Market area, filled with pubs, is filling up with partiers and diners again tonight. The Red Cross is working with local businesses. Money from food and pints sold, as well as cab rides, will be donated to victims of the attack. Mayor Sadiq Khan says that shows the world how Londoners respond in the face of adversity. The head of the Metropolitan Police says, don't give in to the terrorists, don't change your way of life. Elizabeth?
All right, Mike Tobin reporting live in London. Mike, thank you so much. Leland?
Well, back here in Washington, while Democrats are trying to score political points with former FBI Director James Comey's testimony, just about the same time, the House passed a bill this week gutting Obama-era financial regulations. It was a Trump campaign promise. Our political panel is here. Kevin Sheridan, Republican strategist, and Ben Wickler, Washington director of MoveOn.org. Gentlemen, nice to have you. Kevin, is this notable victory or just sort of something the Republicans are ticking the box on?
Well, look, on regulations, the 8 years of Obama gave us about 20,000 new regulations. And so Donald Trump's got a long way to go in unwinding some of the stifling economic regulations that he put in place. That's 80,000 pages of new regulations in the registry. And so he's got a long way to go. This is helpful. You're already seeing it in the stock market. The stock market has responded positively to this. They've got to get growth above 2%. 3% is the goal. If they can get that, all this other scandal stuff will fade into the distance, because that is truly what's going to get us out of.
Ben, big picture here, this brings up an important point, that when Republicans all come together and agree on something, at least in the House, they don't need Democrats.
That's true. They can pass whatever they want. They actually should be thanking their lucky stars for the Comey testimony, because the number of Americans that want Goldman Sachs to be more powerful and less regulated since the financial crisis can fit in a Trump administration cabinet. I mean, this is that, didn't you? I actually literally came up with that just now.
All right.
But I appreciate it. The public doesn't want to see Wall Street get more powerful. They saw what happened last time they did that. And, to your point,
the regulations have made Wall Street more powerful. That's the irony, that the goal of, if it was to take down the big banks,
we should break apart the big banks. We should regulate, more strongly, protect consumers. But the answer of going backwards, that's a disaster. And the Trump administration would really be screwed if we had another financial crisis. That would be the worst thing for Americans, but also for this administration.
This brings up a very important point as it relates to regulation. And we're seeing this debate play out really between you two, that either government and more regulation is the answer or it is not the answer. President Trump was speaking at the Department of Transportation on Friday, met with some people who were building a road in Maryland that was 18 miles long. That was the road, and met some folks who, shall we say, found some roadblocks. Take a listen.
They spent $29 million for an environmental report weighing 70 pounds and costing $24,000 per page. So I'm going to show it. Here it is. Phase one. Look at this.
So, Ben, does the president have a point here? It's hard to argue with that point.
There's no question we need smart regulation that protects the public instead of protecting special interests. And I think there's a very important point that you'll hear Elizabeth Warren and Donald Trump make, that very often special interests have bought off the regulatory process to benefit them instead of benefiting the public. But the solution to that...
Whose fault is that, Kevin?
Look, it's 8 years of Barack Obama. He didn't get anything through after Obamacare. That was his one legislative achievement. So he did everything through regulations. We've seen the impact on it. We've got European-style slow growth for the last 8 years.
We've got the longest continuous period of job growth.
And the only time, the only 8-year period ever where we didn't have a quarter above 3% growth. That's astonishing. And that is the effects. That hits every part of the market. That hits every part of the country. And that hits families in the world.
From an economic standpoint, though, you can't deny some of the points that Kevin brought up. Stock market rocketed after Donald Trump was elected, in large part based on the sort of hope and promise of less regulation. I was just at a coal plant out in western Pennsylvania, the first coal plant that's opened in, I think, 7 or 8 years. The guy who owns the company, runs the company, told me that the boot is off our neck of regulation. You can't deny that less regulation helps create jobs and stimulate growth.
Wall Street loves regulation. The thing you also can't deny is if you go back to before the financial crisis, if you rip apart every rule that was put in place afterwards, the economy is at risk. The public is at risk when you don't have protections. You need a cop on the beat that's actually looking out to prevent a bubble that can then burst and take everyone down with it.
That would apply to Dodd-Frank. I'm not sure if it applies to roads in Maryland, but appreciate you guys being here. You got the first word. You get the last. Gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Back to Liz.
Coming up, Leland, after the break, the Motor City